The Clearer Method template in EdgeRater can be found under the Stocks and Commodities magazine category, S&C magazine, over on the right hand side. And the template itself is called Ron Black, Clear Method. And this is based on an article written by Ron Black in one of the 2010 issues of Stocks and Commodities magazine. And he talks about a new method for determining short-term swing direction. Now, to find out more about this technique, you really need to read the article, and there is a section on my blog page. If you go to edgerater.com/blog and you look for this article here, Ron Black's Clear Method, then it discusses in general what the Clear Method is all about and gives you some links here that you can use for viewing the articles. If you want to look at the entire digital archive, you can do that by clicking on this link here. If you want to look at the individual articles, you can click on these links and find the individual articles. And it talks in here about the Clear Method and the swing line, which is one of the main indicators that goes along with the Clear Method. And I'm going to actually just go through and run this template and talk about some of the statistics that come up. So I've selected on the left-hand side a list of stocks that have weekly options associated with them, and the date of the last update is 8/21/2015. I'm just going to hit run to run the template and produce the report. And the report has come up in my other window. I just drag it over here. And let me zoom in a little bit and explain a bit about the report. So the first part of the report, columns A through E, are columns that you'll see in pretty much every report that's generated in EdgeRater. It contains the symbol, description of the stock, the date that we have data for, or the last available date that we have data for. And you can see here it's August 21st, 2015. The close price, and then the volume traded in that particular security. The next set of columns, F through J, are all related to the Clear Method. And if you look at the column J, that actually is a description of the state, so you don't have to look at all of the values to figure out what the state is. It's just telling you these are currently starting a new downswing. Friday was a big sell-off day in the stock market, and so we see through this list that we actually don't have anything that's starting a new upswing as of Friday, but we have quite a few things that are starting new downswings. The column F will tell us if there has been a direction change today, and then we also can find, by looking at column H, how many bars there have been in the current direction. So if the direction says there's been a direction change today, obviously there's only one bar in the current direction, that's today. But as you go down through this list, you'll find that there are some things that didn't change direction today that have been in a particular swing direction for a period of time, and the number of bars column will tell us how long that the stock has been in that particular direction. So for instance, GLD, row 58 here, GLD, let me highlight that, has been in an upswing based on the Clear Method for 11 bars, and the state today is continuation of upswing. The state yesterday, if we look over to the next set of columns, this is just repeating the set that I just looked at, but for yesterday's values, and I'll explain the reason for that in a minute. But yesterday it was 10 bars and continuation of upswing as well. Now the reason that it's good to have yesterday's swing values is if we go back to the top of this list, and the list is always sorted when the report is produced by things that have changed direction today, because they might be the things that are more interesting to take a look at. So if you see something that started a new downswing, for instance, today, then the number of bars is always going to be 1. So what is really interesting in that case is to go over to the yesterday's swing values and find out what the state was yesterday. So for the first item in the list, which is AGQ, Ultra Silver Pro Shares, we can see that yesterday it was in an uptrend, but it only spent 2 bars in that uptrend, and none of those bars were noise bars, and the state yesterday was continuation of upswing, but now it's start of new downswing. So it's always good to have the yesterday's values so you can go and check what was going on. Now with any report in EdgeRater, one of the great benefits of viewing this report within EdgeRater, because you could review this report in Microsoft Excel, because these are just Excel files on your file system. When you run a template, it produces an Excel or .xlsx file. But by default, it comes and shows you within EdgeRater the spreadsheet. And what you're able to do, one of the big benefits, is you're able to view a chart. So you can either double click on the cell, or you can click on the view chart button up here, and then the chart window will pop up. And I'm just going to put this on one side of the screen so that I can show you. I've actually, if you have more than one monitor, then you can have these on separate monitors, and you get a little bit more real estate to play with. So what I've done is organize this so that I've got on one side the report, and on the other side I've got the chart. And what I'm able to do then is just put my cursor into the cell that I'm looking at, AGQ. You see you've got the chart of AGQ up here. And now if I scroll down using my keys on the keyboard, I can just quickly scroll down through this list, and the chart will automatically update. The chart is linked to the indicators that are relevant to this particular report. So this report is dealing with the clear method. One of the indicators that's key to the clear method is called the swing line. And so if you have this little button pressed in, which is linked to template layout, it means that the chart layout will always show this layout. If you have your own preferred layout to show, that's fine. You can turn off linking to the chart to the template layout, and then you can just view your own layout. But for this demonstration, I'm just going to link it to the chart layout, so we can see the swing line. In the lower area, we can see that there's clearing bars up, clearing bars down, and then the final area down here is showing us where the noise bars are. So let's just go back to the top of the list and take a quick look at some of these. So something that might be interesting, Pandora, for instance, that has been in a downswing for a period of time over here, been in an upswing, and today it's actually got a clearing bar down, or I should say Friday had a clearing bar down, and according to the clear method, this is the start of a new downswing. Now what we can do to analyze this a bit more detail is to go and say, well, Pandora, that's interesting. Let's scroll over a bit further, and let's find out the next set of columns, O through AB, are telling us the percentage of noise bars that have been occurring in Pandora for different periods of time. So for the last 5 days, there's been 60% of the bars have been noise bars. Now to find out more about what a noise bar is, you should look at the article by Ron Black in Stocks and Commodities magazine. And then as we go further to the right, we can see that over 10 bars, 50% of those bars have been noise bars. Over 20 bars, only 35% have been noise bars. And then as you start going into the higher numbers, you're going back up again to 46%. And then 252 bars, daily bars, is actually 1 year. There's about 252 trading days in a year. And 45% of the bars have been noise bars over that period of time. And you can sort by noise bars as well. So if you wanted to find something, and this is interesting to do, that say over the last 100 bars has had a low percentage of noise bars, you can just click on the header up here, and the report will be sorted by the stocks that have the lowest amount of noise bars over whatever time period you've chosen. And the %C is the percentage of the bars that have been clearing bars. So if you have a high percentage of clearing bars and a high percentage of noise bars, it means the stock is very, it just chops back and forth a lot. If you have a low percentage of clearing bars and a low percentage of noise, it means that the stock tends to trend, and when it changes direction in its swing, it tends to stay in a swing for a while, and you might get some nice swing moves. So it's always good to take a look at this and look at the ratio of noise bars to clearing bars. And you can just sort by any of the columns and then take a look at the chart again. And let me put this back over on the left. And as we scroll down through, let me just sort, bring into view what I'm looking at. So this stock has only 16% over the last 100 bars of noise bars. This has only 20% of noise bars, and so on and so forth. So you'll find that when you run this on your symbol list, you'll get an idea of how many, or what the average percentage is of noise bars that you would expect with any particular stock. And it's very common to see numbers in the 50% range, meaning that 50% of the bars that appear are actually noise bars, and a noise bar implies that no new directional information has taken place, and the stock is in a range for that particular bar. So it's always a good idea to take a look at the percentage of noise bars over whatever time period you're interested in. And so the whole idea of this is that you can use this template to find things that are changing direction, a swing direction today, and then analyze what the percentage of noise has been historically over various time periods, and to give you an idea of whether it's a good idea to be entering the stock, and if you are expecting a swing to occur, whether it's likely that that swing will actually yield something. If there's a low percentage of noise bars, then it's the more likelihood that the clearing bar is going to actually indicate a new direction that's going to last for a little bit of time. So those would be good stocks potentially to trade. Now, as always, I would recommend definitely reading the article written by Ron Black. He's the author of this article, and that's all discussed in the Technical Analysis of Stocks and Commodities magazine, the article I pointed out. And again, if you go to my website, EdgeRater.com, and you go to the blog section, you'll find a description of the method and links to the articles, so you can actually go and take a look at the articles. So that's it for this template. I hope you enjoy it, hope you find it useful, and hope you find it profitable. See you next time. Thanks a lot.